You've been listening to Backfire with Steve Hickson, John Stanberry, and Franklin Chansey. Catch them again on Whoop FM at noon today and every Wednesday morning from 7:30 to 8:30. Now, back to more music on Whoop FM.
You are listening to WOOP-LP, Cleveland, Tennessee. Whoop FM is a broadcasting service of the Traditional Music Resource Center, and we play America's original music.
Welcome to the Wrestling Mat here on Whoop FM 99.9 or on the internet at www.whoopfm.com. You can call us here at 614-5553. Morning, Dustin.
It's hard to follow that up, isn't it? That argument was going on there.
Yeah.
How do you follow that one up? Jeez.
Maybe we'll argue about wrestling here a bit. We got Dwayne Shriver here with us and got Dustin Coleman. Deb's sitting over here reading a book about something else, though, I don't think she's going to talk about as much. Now, let me tell you, Deb knows quite a bit about wrestling, though.
I know she has.
And
I've seen her over the years. I've seen her. I thought she was going to get on a mat a couple times too.
Yeah. Well, over in Clarksville, I thought she was one night. She was angry about something over there. But the most fun I had recently in a wrestling match had nothing to do with actually wrestling. My granddaughter, Dustin's daughter, came over and was sitting with us and watching the match. And next thing I know it, she's yelling, stick him, turn him. And I'm going, and everybody just on that side of the room just stopped and watched her.
The funny thing, they were wrestling Ray County, so there wasn't a lot of people there. And the louder she got, the more it echoed in Bradley's gym because there wasn't a lot of people there. And everybody could hear, and a little 2-year-old over there going, stick him. So
she takes after her mother.
It should be a reminder that you need to watch what you're saying in front of
True. Then
From the mouths of babes.
Yeah,
we don't want her to sit with any of the coaches in.
Yeah.
I always thought it'd be good to make a video. You've been around a long time, Dwayne. Watch the coaches during matches. Some of it's hilarious. I mean, I can't think of the little guy's name from Tullahoma, but he gets down on his hands and knees and sounds like a dog barking. You've seen him, a little short, bald-headed guy there. What? You know his name?
I don't know.
Well, he was at the tournament last week, and then the two Baylor coaches used to sit and could lean further than two people. They would start leaning with each other, and I thought they were going to foul the chair and just, there's all kind, and
it's like I've always said, if you go to a wrestling match, and I don't care who you are, if you have never seen a wrestling match and know nothing about wrestling, if I've always said, you go up there and sit in those stands, and within a minute of the first period of the first match, you're going to see people who have never looked at it they're trying to help, they're leaning, they're doing this, they're going like this, it's easy to get into. That's the great thing about it.
And next thing you know, they're hollering, two. I got a chance. I told everybody I was the hydration engineer for the Bradley Invitational for the referees. I was their water boy. I sort of stand there and take care of them to make sure everything's going all right with them. And it's interesting in a tournament what happens. It's interesting to sit with the referees and hear what they have to say, too. Some of them are hilarious, But Dustin, you got into you started watching wrestling 2 or 3 years ago when my son wrestled or was there. I mean, he wallowed a lot.
Now give that kid a break. Now I saw him wrestle.
He done very well. I mean, it's amazing. Sit in the stands with him and he knows exactly what you should do at every moment. Because he went through Steve Loxton for 4 years and it was like boom, boom. Al Morris, of course, trained him from the time he was 6 till he got there. So he knows exactly how to do. Now, can he do it? No. It's like I know how to play every instrument. Can I do it? No. I mean, I know how. But Dustin, this year's been interesting. What have you seen so far this year?
For me personally, I think watching some of the Bradley matches, Bradley's up compared to last year. I think we'll make a pretty good run. I think towards the end of the year, we're stacked better in the middle than we were last year. And there's been some players that surprised me. I say players, wrestlers that have surprised me along the way too. And we'll talk some about the rankings and things like that. But the next month is kind of when we get into the heart of the schedule and get ready for the state tourney. So I think there's going to be some good matches coming up, and we'll talk about the Cleveland match, and Bradley's still got Saudi Daisy to come over to, and that's always a big match. So still a lot of good wrestling to go this year.
Well, the big matches that Bradley's got, of course, coming up is Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to do Saudi Daisy, Walker Valley, and Ottawa. If Bradley beats 3 of those 4, they're going to have a good chance maybe to go back to the duels this year. Mm-hmm. And of course, I think their biggest match will be Cleveland High School. I mean, I think that's the team to beat in Tennessee right now. Of course, Wilson Central's looking pretty darn good over there, but Cleveland's still a pretty good team.
Well, Cleveland has gotten to the point now where we're getting close to getting to the right weights, getting everybody to the right weights, and I think, as we mentioned earlier, we're 11 days from the Bradley-Cleveland match, which is going to be, I think, an unbelievable match.
You said it will be at middle
school,
right?
At the middle school because of the gym and all that kind of thing. But the point is, Cleveland still has 3 weight classes that are not established yet.
Right.
We don't have Chris back, returning state champion.
3-time returning state.
3-time.
Yes.
And he will be in 32. And by that time, hopefully we'll have Blansett at 26, Landers at 20, and then again we've got two freshmen at 6 and 13.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're doing real well,
They
but
sure
again they're freshmen,
yes,
and they make freshman mistakes. But they've been given some good wrestlers some good matches.
I've seen some good. Yeah, they've won quite a few.
So if we get now, John's in good shape there at 220. We still don't know the circumstances with Kennedy. If he's going to be able to come back after his ankle injury, that would be a good addition. But right now, Trey Simpson is doing a great job. And if Karan doesn't come back, then Trey's going to be in there, and he's going to be effective. But again, we'll get into this probably more next week with the Bradley-Cleveland match coming up. But it's going to be an exciting match this year because each team has their own strengths. The Bradley team is probably stronger in the lower weights. Cleveland, some in the middle, and the upper weights are probably a little stronger, depending on what weights we're talking about. We got Ezra in there, who I've called him now the Tasmanian Devil because he just goes crazy, and he's far advanced this year ahead of last year.
He looks really good. Aaron Oliver looks good too.
Oh, Aaron's tough.
Yeah.
Aaron is.
Let me ask you about the last week. We had our 2 local teams involved in 2 big tournaments. Walker Valley was off last weekend, but Cleveland went down to McCallie, finished third. Excuse me. All right, and then Bradley was at the Bradley Invitational, of course, and come back to beat a very good Father Ryan team. As you know, you've seen Father Ryan in some great head-to-head matchups too over there. Right. But tell us about McCallie. I mean, you had I think Ezra Taylor won first place, and was there another?
Yes, we had.
I can't remember everything anymore, guys.
Well, we had, of course, Colton Landers won,
mm-hmm.
and Ezra, So it's no. I'm sorry. Colton came in third. That's right. He was. He's still up at 26. I think when he gets to 20, he's just going to be unbelievable. And then again, we got Joseph Bowers at. He wrestled at 32, and he'll be going to 38. He'll be going the second half. First half was Victor Barbosa, and they had a wrestle off. Victor won. Then they had another wrestle off here before the break, and Joseph won. So there'll be another wrestle off there for the end of the year situation. But they're both doing pretty good at those levels. And of course, Ezra's in as a field by himself. He's come so far. He's really worked hard. I'm proud of him because I used to get on him all the time.
He's going to be hard to beat. All the way to the state tournament. I mean, you can always mess up and get beat somewhere along the way. You get beat once the state tournament, you don't get to be number 1. You could finish third then.
Yeah.
But he has to be a favorite.
He's bound and determined to be a state champion this year. He was second last year, and went right down to the wire. But I say he's way ahead of last year as far as his conditioning, and that is his key. If he's in condition to go 8 minutes, he's going to be good. And when I say 8 minutes, I mean 6 minutes of wrestling and then having to go overtime and that kind of stuff. If you're going to be a winner, you've got to be able to go strong for 8 to 10 minutes without stopping.
Right.
Now at 52, we got Jack Hicks. Again, he's a young wrestler, first-year wrestler. He's not had a lot of experience, but he's strong, and his strength helps him get ahead of the game. And then Oliver, of course, his technique is unbelievable. He has improved every year so much, and of course he just keeps winning. And
finished second in the tournament.
He got second in the tournament, and actually he got pinned, but he got pinned by a really good wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Martin has improved greatly this year at 170. He's really come on. I'm really proud of him. And sometimes last year I kind of wondered if he really wanted to, but this year he's really going out there and showing an interest in trying to do the very best that he can do. And, of course, we got Riley Stevenson at 82 right now, and he's still young. He's a sophomore, but he's going to be a good one down the road. At 95, we got Seth Garcia. He's underweight. That's the problem there. Mm-hmm. But John Gaither is a contender. John has really done a great job,
yes.
And he's going to be. Of course, he's heavyweight last year. He comes down to
I think he's better at 220.
220. Oh, and I was just amazed, bless his heart, how he got there so quickly. I mean, he's 2 weeks after football. He's gone from 235 to 220, and without any really loss of energy or anything like that. He had it planned well. He did his running. He did whatever he had to do, his diet, but he's really going to be a good one. And like I say, Trey Simpson is hanging in there good for us. Had some good wins. Had a big one last week at Soddy Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
See, we started out at 285, and he had a pin, and then we got pinned at 6. And then things started going, and as it turned out, the last 2 weight classes we ended up getting pins to win. It went down to, it was 30 to 27, and then we got a pin to go 33-30, and then got the last pin by Seth to go 39-30.
Did you see? Did you get to go down and see it?
I did.
Okay, is Tucker Rosso as good at 160
yes.
as he
Yes.
was at the lower weight?
He's good, but he wrestled 152 there, and of course he beat Jack Hicks, and he pinned him in 112.
Yeah.
He really looks good. Oliver had a pin against Soddy. They seem to be a little weak in the upper weight classes this year. They're not as strong as they've been sometimes, so that's where we kind of got the edge on them. But there were some good matches down there the other night, and some of our kids are like we started off, like I said, with a pin, and that was 51 seconds when Trey did that, and then of course Jace Mullen, our freshman, he got pinned also quickly. Charles Wheaton, he's tough. Jace is a freshman. He's just gotten over an injury with his thumb, and it's still not right and everything. And I know in his mind as a freshman that's bothering him. But he's going to be a good one. He's going to be a good one. Cody Matthews is looking great. He decisioned the Soddy Taylor at 9-2. Looked really good. He's really for a freshman coming in here. He's definitely way ahead of the game for most freshmen in high school. Then of course you've got we forfeited at 20 because we're not set up there yet. And then of course Colton won a pin at 26. Tristan got beat 7-4 at 32, but
Jacob McClure's not too bad.
He's good. He's good. And I think Tristan realizes if he can get to 26, that's where he needs to be because he'll be better there. He'll be stronger there. And, of course, when we get Chris back at 32, that's just that's 12 points right there.
Oh.
That's a 12-point swing when you're talking about Chris. Best wrestler that's ever gone through, as far as I'm concerned. There's maybe some people will disagree with me. but is obviously, I think, the best wrestler that's ever gone through Cleveland High School. I mean, when you've won 3 state championships, there's nobody else that's done that.
Right. He is good. I mean, I like to watch him wrestle, and
he's
and,
fun to watch because of his technique. He goes out there knowing what he wants to do. He uses, and if you watch him and he's out there, he uses that first period to work on his takedown skills. He may, he'll go out there and he'll take him down, let him up, take him down, let him up. It's strategy. That's his strategy. He gets out there and he works at it. And a lot of it depends on circumstances. Do we need a pin bad to be in the match? Am I going to work here and do some practice drill against somebody besides in the wrestling room? And he's going to do that. He works so hard. And I've said this the last 2 years about Chris. When we went to those tournaments over in Carolina, both years, I think he lost last year. He lost 2 matches, and of course they were both the number 1 and number 5 in the country. And then the year before, he lost one, or I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, but anyway, what that did for him, and this is why losing is not always bad. You never want to lose. You don't go out there to lose. But losing is not always bad, because when he got back into the wrestling room on Monday, I remember walking in there, and he's out there by himself, just shadow moving, working on his skills, all that kind of stuff. But he was bound and determined, even though he lost that. Of course, he didn't lose anything after that. And so that's the kind of attitude you got. You got the people that lose, that their head goes down, I'm no good, I quit, all this kind of stuff. When you know you have arrived, and Knox Fuller is another one of those, when you have arrived, that when you get beat and you come back stronger, you come back more determined. That's what you want out of a good wrestler.
There was a guy down at Huntsville, and I can't think of his name to see his face, but 4 years going into a senior year, they come to the Invitational. He had not lost a high school match, and he lost one at Bradley at the Invitational. And he stood up, sort of just reflected inside himself, had the biggest smile, ran over and shook that guy's hand. I said, well, that's a winner right there. And I doubt he lost too many more, but he lost one there, and he didn't go out stomping and throwing his headgear. He celebrated the other guy beating him.
Well, you have to learn how to handle diversity. See, this is one thing that makes the it's like you were talking about earlier about the wrestler that ends up cold-cocking somebody after a match and he gets beat. All right, that's not handling adversity. That's the one thing about wrestling. It's the character builder. It's the way people go. It's the way they understand and how they handle certain situations. There's nothing wrong with being upset. But when you get up and throw your headgear and you stomp and you hit the mat, the referee blows the whistle and you smack the mat because you got beat, hey, the only thing that does is make you look stupid in the eyes of everybody that's watching you. Shows that you have no control.
Can count a team point against you if you're not careful.
It says a lot about the coaches around here too. I mean, we have some really good coaches, and they teach character. I mean, it goes beyond just go out there and wrestle and win a match. I mean, there's a lot more that goes on, and it's kind of like that with any sport. But in wrestling, you see that a lot, and I've seen that a lot with Cleveland and Bradley, and it makes you proud to have 2 good teams from this area like that.
Well, we got 3 good teams here.
Or 3.
And we've got 3 great coaches. I mean, let's put it this way. We have not just 3 great coaches. We have good coaching staffs. Mm-hmm. And it goes all the way down to the middle schools and to the kid programs. See, this is why Cleveland and Bradley County is so good in wrestling and why everyone has to go through our community. And that was a goal way back in the day, that at one point in time this was going to be the hotbed. And it has become that, and it's kind of swapped around. Cleveland for a while, Bradley, Walker Valley is getting there. It's going to be.
And every once in a while we let Saudi slip in on us.
Yeah, they do, and again, that's going to happen. But it's just the idea, the fact that when you've got people like Jake Yost and Alan Morris and Ben Smith, and then all their assistants, and then all those, and see, sometimes we don't give credit enough to those kid programs. And to those middle school programs that are developing those kids. See, when those varsity coaches get those wrestlers, they have been trained the way they want them to be trained when they're coming into them. So they don't have to go through, like when I was coaching, we had the first junior high program. And, of course, that was a good thing about that is because I was doing both of them, then they all were going, the same direction. But when you got people work, it's like any sport, football, the whole thing. When you got people working together and you got people developing the skills that you want at the high school level, and they're all working for the same purpose, that's when you have. And what's so neat about it, and I don't think we give enough credit to these middle school coaches and the kid program, is they're unselfish. They don't get the front line. They don't get all the publicity. You hear about the head coaches at the varsity level, at the high school level. When something happens, they're the ones they talk to. They're the ones that get the credit. But they know, those coaches know, and they all of them, as far as I know. That's why I love to see the preseason reports when they go in, when Richard puts them in the paper.
Yeah.
He does the little write-ups on each of the teams. The best thing in the world that comes out of that is us, our team. There's no eyes.
Yep.
Now, I do it this way, and I want it done this. No, that's not what it's about. Because if you take that, if all the rest of those coaches walk home, that one head coach, he's in deep doo. Okay.
Yep.
There's no I in it. It's team. That's what I've always loved about wrestling.
Something that I always used to hear Steve Loxton say all the time was that when you go to the tournaments or you go to the match and you win a big one or you lose one, he said, just act like you've been there before.
That's it.
Walk over, shake their hand. Don't be jumping up and down, cheering. You don't want to embarrass the other wrestler. I mean, you may have embarrassed him by sticking him real quick. Stand up, shake his hand.
Exactly.
Walk over, shake the other hand. But don't jump up and down. I said, I remember my son winning his first high school match, and he wanted to jump up and down and scream and everything like that. But he remembered Coach Loxton and said, remember where? So he stood up straight, walked over and shook that hand, and then he walked outside in the hall and was going, yeah. But he said,
that's the thing. I guess that was the thing. This goes back to football, but Barry Sanders, he didn't play long. I think 8 years, something like that. Probably one of the greatest running backs. But if you ever watched him, the thing I always loved about him, when he scored a touchdown, he handed the ball to the referee.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do all this yabba jumping up and down.
Pull your cell phone out of your sock
and that's the thing that he always said and always preached, is act like you've been there before.
That's right. It's a good.
It's a thing that everybody wants to get excited and all that kind of. Nothing wrong with that, but I think how you present yourself is
somebody's wanting to talk to us this morning.
Okay.
Good morning, you're live on Old Town Cleveland.
Good morning.
No, the wrestling mat. Excuse me. I don't know where I am yet.
Good morning, Ron. And
hey, Bullet.
There's a big write-up in the paper about Cleveland has a big win over Saudi Daisy.
Yes, it was.
I wanted to ask the Mr. Robert, what do you think about John Gaither? He's good.
Oh, John is a super. Let me tell you about John. John has great character. John is a great kid. He works hard. He's very. Now, this is one of those guys I'm talking about. When John wins, he handles it well. He acts like he's been there before.
Yep.
He does a great job. I'm telling you, he's just a good kid to be around. He's just, I just love the. After the other night, I haven't been able to work with the team this year as much as I'd like to have done and all that kind of stuff because I've been watching my grandson, and I just have to do that. But we went. Matter of fact, I took my grandson down to that match on Thursday at Saudi Daisy, and so he could see, two good teams wrestle like that and everything, and he was very impressed. And but John, after it was over, I walked over to thank him. He puts his arm around me and hugs me, and he's just such a good kid, and I'm just so proud of. He's a quiet leader. John's not a yah-yah guy, but he leads on the mat and in the thing, and being a senior, he's probably one of our key leaders of that program. Good kid.
Yeah. I think we've got a lot of good wrestlers here. Even Bradley's got some too. Ron, can I get off the wrestling and talk a little football for a second?
You sure can.
As you know, Coach Crawford's leaving,
mm-hmm.
and there's this radio station I don't want to talk about, but they actually said Crawford's been there 10 years. He hasn't been at Cleveland 10 years.
Oh no.
He's just been here. I think he started 2012 and ended 2014. But I just wanted to clarify that. But I don't know why they said that for.
I thought he'd be three years, maybe.
Three.
Well, he's going back.
4
But
years.
he's going back to
going back to his hometown.
Brentwood.
And he'd been there for a while before he came to Cleveland.
He was at Brentwood 10 years
Yeah.
before he came here.
And that might be the confusion there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been a confusion. But I have got somebody in mind that I want to coach Cleveland, but I don't know if I should say on the radio. And I'm gonna,
Go ahead and say it.
Well, I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but he's got the experience because he coached under Ben Monroe 17 years, and he was actually Cleveland's coach here for a while, for 8 years. I think Leon Brown. I don't know if his age got anything. I think he. I don't think he should have got rid of Leon Brown.
Well, I agree with you there.
I like Leon. I don't know if he'd want to come back now or not.
I don't think so now with his grandkids and everything.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not speaking for Leon, but I'll tell you what, he's one of my favorite people, and I respect him to the utmost. And you're right, I agree with you. I wasn't for that when they did that. I thought, they regretted that afterwards because they went, I don't know how many years, 6, 7, 8 years that they didn't win a playoff game. And so, sometimes you have to be careful what you ask for because you don't always get what you're looking for and all that kind of stuff. And but there's a quality man with great character and great pride, and I'm telling you, and the fact that he came back to help says so much about him. And I was proud of Coach Crawford for asking him. But, Coach Crawford is, he's got family. He's got his parents over there at Brentwood. He's got his grandkids. So I was really, I'll be honest with you, I was kind of surprised he even came because of that very thing. And but there was talk about him going last year, and he hung around here. But he's a good guy. I really like him. I like his attitude. He's just a good person, and I wish him well, and I hope we can come up with someone for Cleveland to replace and do that and take care. So there's a lot of good candidates out there. I've got a couple on my mind, but I won't say anything because you know how that can go.
Well,
and,
I talked to the athletic director, Eric Phillips, the other night, and asked him who was going to be the new football coach, and he offered me the job, Bullet.
Did
And I said no. I think I'm too old to be doing that kind of stuff. Then I said, how much does it pay?
Well, I like to second that, but no, I do appreciate you guys coming on in the mornings. And but like Mr. Crawford said, Cleveland's always bounces back. But I hope they get a coach that's going to. That's just who I really feel like would be all right now. But like I said, I'm just a fan. And anyway, guys, I appreciate you.
Hey, Bullet.
Thanks, Bullet.
Thank you, buddy.
January 6th, be at Cleveland Middle School. You're going to see Cleveland and Bradley wrestle, two of the best teams in the state of Tennessee, right here in Cleveland. It'd be like a Super Bowl. It'd be a big crowd.
January 6th.
January 6th.
Hey, I'll be there.
All right.
Take care, buddy.
You're talking about good character. I want to mention real quick what you made me think of this. The captain at the Bradley this year is Navarro Toribio. Toribio is very impressive as the captain. Not only does he go out and do his job on the mat, before every match he walks his wrestlers over towards the table. When they come off, he's the first one to meet them. Walks them back. If they lost, he walks back to the back with them. He's with them. He is actually acting like a captain. This wasn't something I'm the guy in charge. My job is to make sure this team runs good. Yeah. And he's doing an unbelievable job.
That's and I've said this before, that's the reason I love wrestling so much is the family atmosphere. And when I say family, I'm talking about the athletes themselves working together. They're so close-knit. And the parents, I'm telling you, parent involvement in wrestling, and I'm not saying, I've coached baseball, I've coached all other things. I know how parents you can't survive without your parents. But these groups here that we have at Bradley, Cleveland, and Walker Valley, the parent support is unbelievable. If you've ever been to one of their tournaments and go to their hospitality room and see how those parents work to keep that going, it's unbelievable.
Or grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
My nephew Jason grilled, we think, 600 grilled cheese sandwiches and sold them last week at the Invitational.
That's great. See, that's what makes it. See, and without it, if you don't have that involvement like that, there's again, some people think it's just about a sport or just about wrestling. No, it's about that family unit, that people coming together, the kids, support and respect that the kids have for each other. I think there's a lot of humility there. They really are humble. Again, you're going to have some every now and then that kind of drive you crazy, but we're very, very fortunate.
Yeah, Dustin, you got to watch Ray and Bradley the other night, and basically, poor Ray County program is.
It's sad.
It's sad.
Yeah.
The coach is trying. I mean,
I
he
think
seemed
he
like
is
a really
too.
great guy. McMinn County just can't ever get a program going up there. And Stroiker, did I say that right? Stoica. I'll never say his name right. Nice
Good guy. Good
nicest
guy.
guy. And I know we went up 3 or 4 years ago to wrestle there, and we walked up and we said, "Where do we pay?" He says, "We're not going to charge you." Well, I says, "This ain't going to take long." He says, "I only got 8 wrestlers." I said, "But we're willing to pay to get in to watch us," and he wouldn't charge anybody. And I said,
Well-
you need to charge because you need, you got to buy ads.
And the thing about Ray County, the wrestlers still have spirit. I mean, there were some good guys there. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, the score is what it is, but it wasn't a complete lay down, I guess. And for them to travel down here knowing that they're probably going to get beat as bad as they did, they still had a little bit of spirit. They forfeited most of their matches, but that says a lot too about their coaches. They're trying.
Well,
They're
Well,
trying really
and
hard.
it's like Hickson come up and wrestled Bradley, and they says, "We keep Bradley on the schedule for one reason." He says, "I want them to see when them run out, they turn down the lights and the music blasts and they run around, and you want to see all the banners hanging up on the wall, and here comes that black singlet at you. We want to see that. We want to experience that."
I think one of the greatest things last week with the Invitational, I watched these guys for several minutes, and I finally punched Ron. I said, "Look at those guys over there." And there were 3 guys that were standing, and they were counting the number of state championships up on Bradley's wall. And I think, for some teams that's so intimidating, and for some that really are good teams, they're in awe of it.
It used to be when Coach Smitty was around, and girls basketball teams walked in where Coach Smitty was. Just the fact is, here's Coach Smitty sitting down at the other end.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
But it's like Debbie said, if those guys can get over that awe factor and actually think
they
about,
win,
man,
they
this is
really
what we've got to
appreciate
do to win, then
Well,
that's a big thing.
The thing about Ray County is they have got the athletes and they've got the pride. That football program they've got there.
That's something me and Ron, I'm glad you're bringing that up, because me and Ron were talking about, for them to have a great football team. And, Bradley and Cleveland always have these guys come off the football field and go straight to the mat.
Yeah.
You're thinking, well, where's all these guys in Ray County
Well,
at?
they had problems, I know, early when we wrestled them with
Yeah.
hydration and stuff. They had just gotten through football. They hadn't really made the thing. And you're right. They've got 2 guys. I was talking to them that night we wrestled them over there and asking them about their football players and how many more they had coming out and stuff like that. They have got the athletes. All they need is a dedicated individual to come in there. And I'm not saying that the coaches are doing it because, they need to have someone there.
Mm-hmm.
But if we could get a good wrestling person with a good wrestling background over there at Ray County, I'm telling you, they could come up with some teams.
Yeah.
Now the problem with McMinn County is and Ray some way too, is they have no feeder programs. See, when Stoica gets those kids, they're freshmen. All right, you can't, and then you think about our teams here locally, how much experience those kids, when the time they get to be freshmen, have had. And see, it's almost a lose-lose situation. But the thing I've always given Stoica credit about is because he's never quit. He's always tried. He's done it to keep the program going. And I think he's about to bow out. And,
his grandson wrestles now.
Yes, right. And I would like to see some. I'll be honest with you. I'd like to see some of our local wrestlers that wrestled at Bradley, Cleveland, Walker Valley, or something like that maybe have gone to education and gone through the system, and go up there and take over the program there at Ray County. And we've done our best to try to get something going at Polk County, because I'm telling you, there's another group of athletes that could be great wrestlers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we have to have. We've got to get somebody that's. And I'd love to see our own local kids do it that have been